Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm glad you guys are here. If you guys are new, thank you for stopping by. I hope you guys stay and join me for my day here on YouTube. As you can tell by the title of this video, I will be giving you guys a little recap over my first trimester for my pregnancy. And yeah, I didn't do my hair, I didn't do my makeup. I actually just woke up from a nap and I'm a little puffy. But that's okay, right guys? I really don't know how this video is going to end up. If I'm going to be too chatty on it or not, we'll see. I have some notes down here by my side, so I will be looking down occasionally. I don't really know how to get started. Okay, so November 2019, my husband and I decided to grow our family by one more. And I got pregnant November 19, and I unfortunately miscarried December 1st. I was not in the greatest place since my pregnancy. Before that, I gave birth to my little girl at 34 weeks. Unfortunately, she was born sleeping. So yeah, this pregnancy in November 2019 I thought was going to be the one, and it wasn't. So I was not in a good place. I was just like, F this, whatever, like I don't care. And my husband and I were being a little bit careless, and I don't know, something clicked in my head, and I said, well, you're the most fertile after you give birth. And essentially that's what I did. I gave birth when I miscarried, so I was at my most fertile, and it didn't click until later. So January 4th is when I took my first pregnancy test, and I decided to take it just to confirm that I wasn't pregnant. And I wanted to do that so then after that we could be a little bit more careful, because we were holding off just a little bit longer. So this pregnancy right now is a surprise, although like a month prior we were planning on having a child. So it's a surprise pregnancy. So I took the pregnancy January 4th, and like I said, I had just miscarried. The test came out positive. In my head I thought maybe it's still reading my miscarriage and not that I'm actually pregnant. So what I wanted to do was take a pregnancy test every week to see what it was telling me. There was a slight chance that I thought maybe I could get pregnant. So the week after that, January 8th, my husband wanted to have some drinks with me, and I didn't want to. So he got a little upset, and so January 9th, I took a second pregnancy test and it was positive again, and so I decided to tell him that I was pregnant. But I did let him know that, you know, we need to call the doctor and be 100% sure, because I am not right now, because I wasn't at the time. I explained to him that it might be reading the miscarriage that I just had about a month ago. So my initial reaction to my first pregnancy test was not as good as I wanted it to be. I was confused because, again, I didn't know if it was a brand new pregnancy or if it was reading my miscarriage from about a month ago. I was in denial. I was like, no, I'm not pregnant. It is just reading my miscarriage. I can't be pregnant, blah, blah, blah. I was upset, you know, and that's not how I wanted to react. So my reaction that I wanted for this pregnancy was what I gave to my previous pregnancy, which was when I miscarried. And when I found out I was pregnant in November, I was so happy, and I cried happy tears, and you know, I was very excited. I was excited that we went for it, and that was 2 years after my daughter was stillborn. So, you know, I was excited, and unfortunately I miscarried. And with this pregnancy, I did not have the greatest reaction, which makes me sad, but you know, I'm happy now. I had 5 days to let it sink in my head and think about it. And even though I told my husband that I still wasn't sure, in my heart, I was like, I really hope I'm pregnant. So I started getting a little bit more excited. You can tell in one of my videos when I announced like my reaction or whatever, that my mood switched. Like half of the video I was so down, and then the second half I was pretty happy and excited. But underneath it all, I was still very confused and in denial, I guess you can say. So I didn't know exactly how to feel with this pregnancy. I had been in a whirlwind of emotions since November when I found out I was pregnant, and then I miscarried, and then this was happening. I was like, what the heck is happening? I was all over the place, to tell you the truth. So after I told my husband that was January 9th, it took me about 2 weeks or so to call my doctor to have a to get myself checked out to see if she could confirm the pregnancy or not. And within those 2 weeks, my husband was like, have you called yet? Have you called yet? Have you called now? I didn't want to call. I was scared either way. I was scared because I didn't want a positive, you know, I didn't want it confirmed and then something happened along the way. Like I was so nervous about that. I don't know if I can take another loss, so I didn't want it confirmed and then have it taken away from me again for the 5th time. But I also didn't want to go and have it confirmed that it was negative and it was just all in my head. Which brings me to the next thing that I was dealing with during my first trimester. When I took that first pregnancy test, I was really convincing myself. That's why I say that I was in denial, because I was really convincing myself that I was having a phantom pregnancy. If you guys don't know what a phantom pregnancy is, it's basically your mind tricking your body into thinking that it's pregnant because you want it so bad after a loss, so you get all the symptoms. But I was Googling it and I couldn't find it anywhere other than one source that it can't give you a positive test. I read many articles and none of them said that it could or couldn't give you a positive test. So that's why still I was confused and in denial, because I was going through this make-believe world, I guess, that I was thinking about it too much and that I wanted to be pregnant and have another baby, that I was making my body have a phantom pregnancy. So obviously that was shut down when I got the confirmation from my doctor that I was indeed pregnant. You know, my husband and I went to my first pregnancy appointment and she took an ultrasound and I was crying happy tears. So towards the end of my sonogram appointment, she said that there was a blood clot in my uterus, and naturally I started freaking out. She said that the doctor would then see me and she would talk to me a little bit more about it. And they both said that it was normal, but they were gonna keep an eye on it just because of my pregnancy histories. But of course, when they say, but we'll keep checking on it, that didn't sit well with me. So that's all I kept thinking for a little while. She said that blood clots sometimes form when the fertilized egg attaches itself to your uterine wall and the blood clot forms there. When I got home, I did cry a little bit and I was like, why is it happening to me? I think a week later or something like that. I'm sorry, I don't quite remember the time frame anymore, but after that I started spotting a week before I had my next appointment. So I started spotting and I started getting nervous. I was like, no, I know what this means. I was so stuck in trying to have a normal pregnancy with this pregnancy that I kind of forgot about the blood clot, because I was tired of thinking negative thoughts. So I pushed them away, and I guess I pushed it a little too far and I forgot about the blood clot. Like, I forgot, but I didn't forget. Like, it's still in the back of my head, or it was still in the back of my head, but it was way back there, you know, that when I was spotting, it wasn't the first thing that clicked to my head, just because of my past experiences. So obviously that's the first thing that I thought of. I was like, here I go again, you know, I'm miscarrying once again. But it was either the next day I started spotting or the day after that I felt something pretty big pass, and it felt like when I miscarried, it felt just like it. So I was like, that's it, I just miscarried. But I tried to stay positive. And then later on that day, the blood, because I still was kind of spotting, so the spottiness was already pretty brown, which never happened during my last miscarriages. It was still red for like a week or so. Everybody bleeds different, you know, so different amount, different days. So it was close to a week after I miscarried still that I was still bleeding red, and then it turned brown. But immediately this turned brown. Like, I passed whatever it was in the morning, and then that evening the blood was already brown. So I was like, okay, maybe it's not it. And then my husband was like, whoa, what about the blood clot? And I was like, yes, that's probably what it was that I passed. Like I said, this was the week prior to my doctor's appointment, so I took a risk and I decided just to wait until my appointment. And they took another sonogram and they confirmed that in fact I had passed the blood clot and I was blood clot free, and I had relief. So yeah, that was like the first half of my first trimester, and that was a lot, you know, along with my hormones changing and, you know, just being tired all the time. That was so much. I was so exhausted. I didn't think I was gonna get emotional. Okay. I was kind of so out of it. I was so exhausted, not just physically because of the pregnancy, but mentally and emotionally. I was done. I wanted it to be done. Finally, all of those emotions and everything, the blood clot and my fears about the blood clot and what could happen and this and that, went away when everything was confirmed that I was okay and I had passed it. And every time we went to get checked, baby was okay, which was my biggest thing, of course. So the second half, everything was pretty normal since the beginning. I never got nausea, I never vomited, other than being tired and super sleepy all the time, which is a huge first pregnancy symptom. I didn't get any of the other symptoms, but with this being my third pregnancy that I carry this far, I got bigger quicker. This was the hardest pregnancy to keep hidden. Like, I think around 11 weeks already, I was like, I felt like a freaking hippo already. So yeah, that was interesting to try and hide it, especially for my sister since we live with her. I was like, oh goodness, she's gonna find out. Okay, so at around 13 weeks, I started feeling the freaking pains down in my belly, which is the round ligament pain, and it mainly happened when I coughed or sneezed, and it hurt so bad. It mainly triggers the right side, but on me it went like, this is my belly, and so my right side, it started there like very painfully, and then it kind of like spread out, so it's the whole bottom, or sometimes it was just right there on the left and the right. The best way for me to relieve some pain is to have my knees kind of closer to my body so you're not stretched out and making it worse. So yeah, those are a lot of fun. And then the next pain that came with the lovely round ligament pain was my lower back. Okay, so this is my back and this is my bottom. My lower back kills me, and it goes all the way down to like midway to my bottom, and it hurts so bad. Like, I can't do anything that I used to do. I can't wash the dishes, I can't really cook, I can't bend down to do anything, because then the front side of my body hurts if I bend over, and if I stand for too long or sit for too long, the back side hurts. And I do get little sparks of energy. I can do some things maybe for about 30, no, I'll say a little bit longer, maybe 45 minutes to an hour I can handle, but then that's it. Like, if I do any more than that, I can't. So right now, I feel bad, but the only thing I've been doing is putting a load in of dishes in every day. And I mean, I feel bad, but I also want to take care of myself, you know what I mean? I just feel bad because I can't do the normal things I used to do. I'm sure my husband agrees that he would rather do it than me be in pain or cause harm or anything like that. So thanks, babe. I love you. Towards the end of my first trimester is when I started getting pretty big already. Like I said, I think it was 11 weeks or something that I already like popped out. My husband bought me a belly belt, and that actually does help a little bit if I'm just doing that like 45 minutes to an hour work. Any type of work, it helps. If I wear it longer than that and I keep working, it basically does nothing. So that sucks, but I do wear it when I need to. I'm very excited, and I'm very happy now that my first trimester is over with. I am currently in my second, and I will make a video hopefully about my second trimester. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye guys.